All right, welcome in. Moose at the box here. LSU defeats Northwestern. Excuse me. Gosh, I'm gonna do that all the time, aren't I? LSU defeats North Dakota State 6-1 in the midweek to open up that series. Tigers now 15-2 overall on the year. Man, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive outing for LSU in that ball game. There's a lot to go through as well on the mound and at the plate. Some good things at the plate, some things you still need to work on. But coming off the weekend that you were coming off of, there's really not much to really be negative about offensively. If you're looking at LSU, so you really struggled Friday and Sunday against Xavier. You remedied a good bit of those issues here tonight. I mean, just looking at it in the large scale before we kind of get into the game a little bit. Excuse me, camera problem there. Before we get into the game a little bit, I mean, LSU drew 6 walks. That's something we talked a lot about with this North Dakota State team. They had a problem with walks. It was 91 walks and 113 and 2/3 innings pitched coming into this weekend. So for LSU to draw 6 tonight, that's very good. They were also hit by a pitch at least once. That was Brady Neal, who had a whale of a game. We'll talk plenty about Brady Neal. You pounded out 9 hits in the game and scored 6 runs. You scored in a variety of different ways. That's something that we like to see. It was a very good offensive performance, and it was one that I thought you could see, but I just given the nature of North Dakota State's pitching staff, but the nature of that staff is what I thought made them such a perfect test for LSU's lineup coming off the Xavier weekend. So I was excited to see them go up against them, and they were awesome. As far as your pitching, you were great. I mean, Cade Anderson gave up a single run in the first inning, and it was a shutout the rest of the way for LSU, and you saw some top-line arms do very well. If Ulloa, I thought, battled really hard without his best stuff. Justin Lure, I thought, battled really hard and pitched well. Like, that's a good outing for Justin Lure, 2 1/3 shutout. Even when he fell behind in the count, he still battled and got the out. I mean, he was the first 3 batters that Justin Lure faced. They all went to a 3-ball count. None of them walked. I mean, that's he had at least 4 3-ball counts that I can remember in the game. And I look in the box score and I see 0 walks. That's good. That's him making a pitch when he needs to. And then Javen Coleman, y'all. Javen Coleman was awesome at the end of that ball game Tuesday night. Man, that was some dominant stuff from Coleman. The fastball was up to 95 multiple times, but sat about 91, 93 most of the night. Late in that outing, he really found the feel for the slider, and I mean, he punched out 5 in 3 innings. When you look at his last outing before this one, it was the Sunday game against Texas State in Houston, and he pitched well right up until the 9th inning in that game, really struggled, ended up walking 4. And I believe at least three of them were in that inning, and he gets pulled. You don't see him again until tonight. So, I mean, he's off for, what is that, 9, 10 days? Something like that. And for him to come out and be as crisp as he was, 3 shutout, a hit, 1 walk, and the 5 punch-outs, that was awesome. Awesome to see from Javen Coleman. I see a lot of y'all's comments coming in about Paxton Kling. We will talk about Paxton Kling. Another rough night for him at the top of the order. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, all of them swinging. It's not what we became accustomed to seeing from Paxton Kling early in this season, for sure. He's definitely going through it right now. So we will get into that. Glad everybody's in here right now. Y'all go ahead, smash the like button. Share the video out. All that's greatly appreciated as well. Go share my post that's on social media. That's greatly appreciated. If you don't follow me on social media, do that. But make sure you smash the like button. Glad you're here. LSU 6-1 winners over North Dakota State here on a Tuesday night. Now 15-2 overall. Justin Lure got the win. Javen Coleman gets the save. Let's run through the game a little bit here, and then we'll get back into our overall takeaways to wrap the show. Starts off in the first inning. Cade Anderson gets the start as we thought he would. It made the most sense. The thing that we talked about is, all right, Let's see how long they let him go. That's going to tell you all you need to know about their plan for him the weekend. Jeffrey, so who pitches tomorrow? Jeffrey, don't get ahead of me. We're going to get to that. So stick around. It's a great question. One that will have a very interesting answer, but we're going to get to that. So Anderson gets the start, and like I said, you're going to look to see, all right, what is he going to do? How far is he going to go? How long are they going to let him go? And we got our answer, but let's kind of take it, kind of inning by inning here. Gives up an infield single to start the game. Got ahead in the count 1-2, but gives up the infield single to start the game after a fly out Dunlap, who we talked about in the preview. Guy led the team in RBI. Was coming off a 6 RBI weekend where he only had 2 hits, so really understood how to have an at bat with guys on and whatnot. He comes up with a double to left field. First pitch that he sees from Anderson, and credit North Dakota State. They make a very aggressive play. Send the runner. I mean, that's with 1 out. Send the runner from first base. He gets in at the plate, and they have the 1-0 lead. Big credit to Cade Anderson after that to go foul out, fly out, and get out of that inning with just the 2 hits, and to strand Dunlap there on second. For LSU, Kling goes down swinging to start the bottom of the first, a ground out from White, and ultimately Milam strikes out after a walk to Jones. So you have a scoreless bottom of the first. Loved Anderson. He gives up the walk to start the second, but immediately gets the double play on the very next pitch and then gets out of that inning scoreless. And then LSU can really kind of go to work with the bats. Hayden Travinski doubles to left field. Thought Travinski really took some good at bats tonight. He did have the one punch out looking where he just got fooled on a fastball. But outside of that, thought he really took some good at bats. After Travinski doubles, Neal is hit by a pitch on a 2-0 count. Bingham really works a great at bat to get to full, flies out. But after that, Alex Milazzo comes up and works a great at bat as well. Gets it 2-2 and fights off a pitch and then singles to right field, advancing the runners and loading the bases. It was a ball that was just flared right out over the first baseman's head. Travinski, had to hold up and make sure it wasn't going to be caught before taking off for home plate. So, taking off for third base and potentially scoring. So he stands there. But this is a spot you have to get a run in, right? You have the bases loaded, 1 out, and you're down 1-0. It's a spot early in the game where LSU has an opportunity. Like we saw them have a lot of the time over the weekend against Xavier. And they struggled to come through in that spot on Sunday. They struggled to come through in that spot later in the game on Friday. And you have Braswell at the plate. And this was a great understanding of not trying to do too much by Michael Braswell. He gets down in the count 0-1, works it back to 2-1, and then hits the sacrifice fly to right field, and you score the run there, and you tie it up. With Paxton Kling now back up at the plate, Alex Milazzo takes off for second base. As soon as he breaks, Neal breaks for home. North Dakota State throws through. They get Milazzo hung up, but he stays in the rundown long enough for Neal to score. You manufacture 2 runs there beautifully without the benefit of a hit. That's massive. Do you want to see LSU pound out a bunch of hits? Absolutely. I want to see LSU get 14 hits every single night. But what wins the game is runs. The only column that matters at the end of the game is the run column. And I don't care how you get them, as long as you get them and you get more than the other team. And that's all that they care about as well. And in that inning, you saw them manufacture 2 runs perfectly. Double, hit by pitch, single, sac fly, and then some nifty base running there, some heads-up base running. And LSU has the 2-1 lead, and they would never look back. Cade Anderson goes back out there and gets a ground out and a strikeout with a single in between, and that's when they go get Fidel Ulloa. So Anderson's out of the game after 2 2/3 with 38 pitches. You know what that means. You're going to see that kid this weekend against Mississippi State in Starkville, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch him in the SEC. That's going to be an awesome test for him. He's been fantastic throughout this whole early part of the season. To watch him in the SEC is going to be great. LSU would tack on another run in the bottom of the third. Really nice at bat by Jones. Falls behind 0-1 after 2 flyouts from Kling and White. Falls behind 0-1, but lets the fastball travel and just hammers a ball 380 plus feet to right field. So another opposite field homer. That's something that's been noticeable from Jones this year. The raw power even just being shown off even more with him using the opposite field. I don't recall him hitting an opposite field home run last year. Maybe he hit one, but that's at least 2 already this year. Neither of them have had any doubt whatsoever to them. So that was awesome to see. That puts LSU up 3-1. The Tigers would add another run in the bottom half of the 4th inning on an RBI ground out from Milazzo. So again, manufacturing the run. That's perfect. Brady Neal, single to center field. Ball was hammered, by the way. Mac Bingham, single up the middle. So you have runners there at first and third, and Milazzo chops the ball. It was a great play by the North Dakota third baseman. Chops the ball up in the air. It looks like it might get over his head, but he snares it, throws across the diamond for the out. But Alex Milazzo in that spot stays out of the double play and while putting the ball in play. That's perfect from him right there, and you add the run there. You get to the top of the 5th inning. I'm gonna come back to the 4th for the Justin Lohr aspect of it momentarily. So after a 3-up, 3-down inning for North Dakota State, LSU adds another run. You have a walk and a walk to start the inning. White and Jones. Milam flies out to center field, but it allows White to advance. Travinsky, that's when he had the strikeout looking where he just got fooled by the fastball. And then Brady Neal, once again, comes up, falls behind 0-1, works the count to 3-1, and just smashes a single to right field. It scores Tommy White. So you've had the manufacturing of runs. Now you have the clutch hitting from a guy like Brady Neal right there. 2-out production is something we've highlighted here for LSU. Jared Jones's home run came with 2 outs, and now this single from Brady Neal comes with 2 outs, and at that point LSU's up 5-1. 4-1. I was correct. 5-1. 5-1. Teams trade zeros in the 6th, and in the 7th inning, LSU adds their final run of the ball game. Tommy White leads it off with a single. He once again beat the shift. I am once again just confused by team strategy shifting on this man who can hit the ball to all fields and has proven that. And after, he advances on the third on a wild pitch after a couple outs, Travinsky draws a walk, and Brady Neal comes up once again, and in an 0-1 count with 2 outs, just drills a ball. Absolutely drills a ball to the right center field gap, scores White easily. Travinsky gets hung up coming around third base, and he got back, but he came off the base, and they kept the tag on him, and that ended the inning. But by that point, LSU's up 6-1. They didn't need anything else, and Javen Coleman just dominated the rest of the ball game, and LSU wins it 6-1. 9 hits, and they made the 1 error. I will compliment North Dakota State's defense in this ball game. That is something we highlighted for them, that they were fielding 960 as a team, and they made incredible plays. The catch that center fielder made tonight to rob Tommy White of that for sure double in the right center field gap was big league. The third baseman made a couple of nice plays. We mentioned the one where the chopper that Milazzo hit that looked like he was going to get over his head, and he leaps up and snags it. But he also robbed Travinsky earlier in the game on a dive to his left to snare a ball. So they made some awesome plays in the field. Not really what I expected from them at all. I said I wanted to go back to the 4th inning for Justin Lohr, and I do. So Fidel Ulloa did not have his best stuff, but he really battled and pitched well, even without his best stuff in this ball game. Let's see. That's 1, 2. Okay, so only 2 3-ball counts. I remembered him having a few more. But they were able to really foul him off and fight, and it just took Ulloa a little bit more than we've seen him have to get through. So he ultimately, it kind of gets away from him in the 4th. He walks the leadoff hitter, gets the ground out, but Hake advances to second. After a strikeout, he walks and then hits a batter. So he loads the bases. And at that point, I was sitting there watching the game. I said, all right, I want to see him get out of this, though. Like, I want to see Ulloa get himself out of this. He got himself into it. He's pitched great all season. Can he get out of this now? And he didn't get the chance. And like I said, I wanted to see him do it, but I was okay with the decision when I realized that Jay was bringing in Justin Lohr. Because we had the Justin Lohr conversation at this time last week, where that's a guy who they expect to be a vital key piece of this bullpen, especially in the back end, that they can bring into tough situations and he can get outs. That they can bring in a close game, needing him to throw up a 0 for them, and he can get the outs. And so far, it's just been really inconsistent. So this was a big spot for Justin Lohr to come in, bases loaded. At that point, it's a 3-1 ball game. One swing ties it up, and you've loaded the bases here with free passes. Not him, just LSU has loaded the bases with free passes. And he comes in, he gets the strikeout. Now, he got the counts at 2-2, made a couple great pitches that you credit Schaffner. He fouled off, then works it to full, but Justin Lohr comes back with a dandy of a slider and gets the swing and a miss there on the full count. So you got a hitter up there, probably looking fastball. He doesn't get it in the fastball count with the bases loaded. For them to call slider, to have the confidence to call slider in that spot, and for Justin Lohr to be able to execute it, that's big time. Like, that is a big time moment that gives me some more confidence going forward in him. I want to see him build off of that. I'm not saying go ahead and throw Justin Lohr into, the Lions' den here and, this weekend or whatnot, but that was a big spot, and it was executed very well from Nate Yeske's point and from Justin Lohr's point, and that's what you have to have. You have to have both of them working in sync, and they did there. And then I thought he really battled the rest of the time that he was in there. We talked about that off the top of the show. He wasn't maybe as sharp as you want, got himself into a lot of 3-ball counts, but none of those guys reached base. That's the important part there. That's massive. So, really, really like that. I mean, like I said, overall for LSU, y'all, really good night for the Tigers. 6 runs, 9 hits. LSU punched out 10. They only walked 4. You gave up the run in the first and then shut out ball the rest of the way. That's very, very, very good. I thought from an offensive perspective, we mentioned it kind of off the top, but didn't kind of go too in depth on it. The balance, I think, that was shown in kind of approach was great. You saw, we mentioned the 6 walks, but you saw some hit and run tonight, which I loved from LSU. That's a conversation we've had plenty about, are they going to have to find different ways to score runs this year? And I've told y'all I believe in the power that is on this team, and I think they will come into their own in their power in time. But right now, when you're still trying to find your way, sure. Like, I liked seeing the hit and runs that we saw tonight, and they were executed well. Mac Bingham, that was his first hit. It was perfectly, he let the ball travel, hit it the other way, and it was awesome. And then you saw the power. Like, you saw the power with Jared Jones. You saw the power with Tommy White. The kid just made a heck of a catch. And, I mean, even Brady Neal, to an extent, really hit the cover off the ball, and that double was smoked. So you saw it all there, and you saw it throughout the lineup. I mean, you had 2 hits from 1 through 3. Brady Neal at the, in the 6 hole was 3 for 3, and you had 3 hits from 8 and 9. That's great production. That's what you want to see. And LSU did a great job working counts tonight. Like, this, when they're at their best, this is what it looks like. They're going to work a lot of counts, and they're going to have production throughout that lineup. And they had that tonight, and that was great. Now, right off the jump, everybody in the chat was asking about Paxton Kling. And yeah, that's a conversation that we have to have. I'm curious if they don't give him a rest day tomorrow. Just let him chill, take a breath, see the game. You have plenty of outfielders, as we've learned. Even Brady Neal. Which nobody hit him a fly ball, and I'm mad about that. I wanted to see him catch a fly ball. I thought he did great getting to the ball that was kind of hit down the line. He got to it fast and got it in quick, so that was great. But back to Paxton Kling. I digress there. I I'm curious if they don't give him a day off tomorrow, maybe, and just let him see the game, because it does look like he's pressing a little bit. I mean, if we go back through his at bats, so the one in the first inning, he struck out, fell behind 0-2, worked it back even, fought off a pitch, but then goes down swinging. So that's actually, you don't want to see him strike out, but that's really not a bad at bat. Flew out in the third at bat, and the other two would have been strikeouts, and probably the ones that you look at and you go, ugh, that's not the best one. So yeah, I mean, you look at the bat in the fourth inning from him, he's up in the count 3-1 and then strikes out. That might be him pressing a little bit at the plate for sure, trying to do a little bit too much, knowing he's in the slump. Maybe. I mean, I don't. That's such a hard thing to really diagnose. But man, when you're ahead 3-1 against the team that does struggle throwing strikes and whatnot, to strike out after that's rough. And then I believe his last at bat was in the seventh inning, if I'm not mistaken. No, it would have been the sixth. Let's go to that real fast and see how that went. That one, I mean, he just kind of got blown away a little bit. He was down the count 1-2. I mean, he was ahead 1-0, and then there were 3 straight strikes. So that's what I would say with that. LSU needs Paxton Kling in the lineup. Okay? I mean, he is one of, if not the most talented player on this team. Like, he is up there. He's extremely toolsy. He's a great defender out in center. You need him in the lineup. And really, for the most part of this season, he has taken some really, really good at-bats. That's why I say maybe they just let him sit, see the game, and then have him back in there ready to go against Mississippi State. But yes, he's going through it right now, but I have the faith, and I think they do in him too, that he's going to snap out of it. In his place in a leadoff spot, maybe, Stephen Milam. I mean, that's the case there. I mean, it was funny when we looked at this as a potential. Do they move Kling out of the leadoff spot? For Tuesday's game, the average between Milam and Kling, there's a drop off there, big one. But an on base there isn't. They each came into Tuesday's game with an on base percentage of .471. So Kling was still getting on base. Like, that's the trouble for me in this one, is the 3 strikeouts and him not reaching base, where I'm like, all right, maybe he just needs to take a little bit of a step back. But Paxton Kling will be fine. I really have faith that he will be fine, because he's that talented. And I think we've seen it in spurts, and the at-bats have been really competitive, really up until the last, call it 3.5 games or so for Paxton Kling. So we'll see. If it were me, like I said, I'd give him tomorrow. Just go ahead, rest it up, and see that. Noah, preferred lineup order for Mississippi State on Friday. We will do that in the preview show for Mississippi State. I will get to that, the preview show at Mississippi State. I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, mention a potential rest day for Stephen Milam tomorrow. I don't hate that either. Sorry, I don't know who commented that, but I don't hate that either. That was a scary moment there with him going down with the knee. Luckily, he stayed in the game, but it wouldn't hurt to have a rest day. Let's wrap it up with this for tonight. Who pitches tomorrow? That's a great question. I mean, that's a really great question. As much as I loved seeing Javen Coleman just dominate the end of this ballgame, and I loved it, I really thought they were going to go ahead and give him the start, and that is obviously not going to happen. So what is going to happen is you're going to see somebody make their first start of the season tomorrow for LSU. Who that is really anybody's best guess. You got plenty of guys who are capable of doing it. I mean, Christian Little has started games for LSU in the past. You want to run him out there for an inning or two? Whoever it is, I don't expect them to go deep. Like, LSU should empty the bullpen tomorrow. And get everybody work before conference play, or on Wednesday, I should say. Jeffrey says Cam Johnson. Sure, I'd be fine with that. I really would. I'd be fine seeing Cam Johnson get a start. like I said, Christian Little has started. Nate Ackenhausen has started. I don't really know if you want to start Nate Ackenhausen against North Dakota State. You probably want him at full strength, full bore for Friday night. He's also a really good complement to Luke Coleman, where Holman is, I like the contrast. Excuse me, I like the contrast of them as a lefty righty pair there. So I actually maybe not, but he's definitely had the starting experience. Y'all, Sam Dutton has started for LSU before and in an opener role, which is probably what you're looking for tomorrow night. So that would be something interesting to see. But they have options. I wouldn't mind seeing Griffin Herring potentially get a start. So, look, we'll see how it goes. Forgive me, that comment disappeared too quick. It was about Coleman pitching on the weekend as well. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's something that tonight affords you as well with him. So, I mean, let's see. Coleman threw 44 pitches Sunday. He could absolutely he could absolutely come back on Sunday and pitch for you out of the bullpen there. And yeah, that's absolutely a weapon there. So you'll see somebody make their first start tomorrow, Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, I should say, on the bump for LSU, and you got plenty of options. We just went through a few of them. I don't know. Jay might have announced it in his post game. I have not obviously looked at that because I have been on this live stream with y'all. So maybe the announcement's actually already out there. That's gonna wrap it up for right now. Y'all smash the like button, please, if you have not already. Smash the like button, share, all of that. Greatly, greatly appreciated. We will not be live immediately after the game tomorrow. I'm filling in for Moscone on AFR, so I will be there. If you want live reaction from the game, tune into AFR because I will be there, and that would be greatly appreciated as well. But we will have a full recap of the game posted, podcast form, YouTube video after all of that is gone. So be on the lookout for that. Again, smash the like button, share, follow me on Twitter, subscribe up to the podcast, to the YouTube channel, all that greatly appreciated. Thanks for the interaction. Thanks for the comments. And y'all be here again next time on Moose at the Box.